Now, there is one plan that could lead to legal residency for illegals who've been in the United States for a while. It's called the Dignity Act, and it aims to crack down on illegal hiring to protect American jobs, but it allows certain long-term illegal immigrants to earn legal status without a pathway to citizenship. Will it get any traction within the Republican Party? Well, let's ask Republican New York Congressman Mike Lawler, who is co-sponsoring the bill. Congressman, thanks for being with us here today. The Dignity Act. Let me start with a very pointed question. How is this not amnesty?
Look, when you look at the challenge facing the country, Will, we have upwards of 25 million people who are here undocumented. The president won in large measure on 2 points. Number one, he would secure the border and stop the influx. He has effectively done that. We've had 9 straight months of net zero illegal border crossings coming into the country, and the American people support that. Every Republican supports that. Secondarily, going after criminal aliens and ending sanctuary cities. I just yesterday led the effort to push back against my own home county in New York, trying to become a sanctuary county. One of my Democratic opponents, Beth Davidson, trying to make the county a sanctuary for criminal illegal aliens. We are opposed to that. And I think what is a big part of the bill is that it codifies the border security element here. The second aspect of this is to recognize that you have 25 million, roughly, undocumented immigrants in this country. Not everyone has committed a crime while being in the United States. We all agree coming into the country illegally is wrong, and you should not be rewarded for it. But what the Dignity Act is saying is recognizing this challenge, recognizing the number of people who are in this country and the economic impacts on the country. We want to create a legal pathway for those who have been here long term, meaning more than 5 years, more than the Biden administration disaster that was created by allowing open borders.
Let me ask you a simple question, okay? First of all, on the point of codifying border enforcement, I've had this debate with your colleague, Congresswoman Maria Salazar. I do believe that's a bit of a Trojan horse. We do know that border enforcement is at the discretion of executive enforcement. We were all taught a very tough lesson about that under the presidency of Joe Biden. What this is really about is this, however you want to call it, legal status. I asked you, is it amnesty? But I'm going to move the conversation forward. Why? Why is it important to give those 25 million illegal immigrants a pathway to legal status?
Again, you're not giving the 25 million. You're giving a segment of that would fit into very specific criteria. Number one, they cannot have committed a crime in the United States or in their country of origin. Number two, they cannot collect government benefits, period. Number three, they have to pay all back taxes and a fine for coming into this country illegally and go through this process. Well, then they're deported. Then they're deported.
What if they don't do that?
Then they are deported.
They're deported.
You have to abide by the terms of this. And part of this, and I fundamentally believe, if you gave people an option to come out of the shadows, to stop hiding and skirting a legal process, if you gave them a process forward that forgoes any path to citizenship, they would take it.
But
they would take it in a heartbeat.
They came into this country illegally. Why are you offering this path to legal status? What is the benefit to the United States of America?
Because to your point that you just said, a lot of this is based on executive enforcement. And we saw under Joe Biden, I'm answering your question. We saw under Joe Biden a total lack of enforcement at our borders. No. They violated the asylum and parole process. They pretty much let everybody walk in.
Congressman, with all due respect, you're not answering the point of the question I'm asking about the legal status. I hear you on border enforcement. We all agree on border enforcement. We disagree, you and I, and I'm trying to do so respectfully and get a direct answer from you here on why. Why are you opposed to the deportation of people that came into this country illegally? Why do you feel like there must be a pathway to legal status for the people who are in this country illegally?
Because you have a segment of the population of people who came into this country illegally. Right, wrong, indifferent, people whose children and grandchildren are American citizens, who have been in this country for 10, 15, 20 years, who are participating in the workforce, who are contributing to the tax base, who are part of the community. You can dismiss it, but it's a reality of the situation. And you're not rounding up 25 million people and kicking them all out. That's just a reality of the situation.
I believe
so
and think you and I should have a longer debate on this. And unfortunately, I'm already being told. Everybody always loves to grab this like I'm running for the debate, but I'm already being told because Lee Bryce is waiting in the wings to come talk.
I'm happy
and the
to
show
come
will
back
end.
anytime.
No, but here's the thing. Here, I am respectfully disagreeing with you on this front. You are creating an incentive. That's my belief, Congressman. If you get the Dignity Act passed, you are creating an incentive for rolling whatever word you want to use, amnesty, pathway to citizenship. I know you're not proposing that. Legal status. You're creating the continued incentive for illegal immigration. That's the problem here. We've seen it play out in reality.
Can I make one point to you? Number one, this would be a one-time fix. It would not be permitted moving forward. Number two, anybody coming into the country illegally from this point forward would never qualify for this. Number three, I think fundamentally, if you want to codify border policy, especially President Trump's border policy, if you want to codify things like the Save America Act that requires citizenship to vote, if you want to ensure that illegals are not being counted in the census for the purpose of representation, I think you can negotiate a path forward and get there. But the fact is, many of those bills that we all support and would champion would never become law passing the Senate. You need to find a legislative process
what would happen
forward.
if somebody didn't pay the taxes, didn't pay the fine? You said they'd be deported. You're going to be right in the same situation you are today with people freaking out on the streets and protesting over those deportations just as well.
You'll never win.
You'll never win politically by pacifying the left, and I'm afraid about the incentive that you're creating. And I'll tell you what, after this conversation, I'm going to say these debates deserve 10 minutes, not 5 minutes. There's too much to unpack, and I look forward to that debate.
I'm happy to come back.
Congressman Miller. Thank you so much. All right.
Thanks, Will.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.